We started with Membean about 2.5 years ago. We did a trial period first, thank you, Membean people, and it was wildly popular. In fact, I remember going to Trevor, telling him how much the kids really liked it, and now our whole school's on Membean, and we haven't looked back, and we won't. I mean, I have no trouble throwing away our old vocabulary books now. I mean, they make no sense. And the kids have even referenced that they're so glad that they're not bound by a book and that they can log on and work at their own pace. I do ask for about 20 minutes a week. I found that works really well with seniors. I think I could ask the sophomores to do a little more.
I find that to be true too. My juniors, well actually all of my students do 20 minutes outside of class per week, and then I also have an in-class session where we all go to the computer lab, they log in, and I actually go log in and sit down in the middle of them so they get to look over and, what is that word? Well, you'll get there eventually. And so they do about 20 minutes in class.
And what I find fascinating is that the kids have branded Membean into their vocabulary. So they'll say, oh, I saw a Membean word on the SAT. I love that. I just get a kick out of it.
I have kids do that and they highlight them and they underline them. And I now talking with other teachers here at Kate who have done Membean, they make their kids do that. And it's part of their assessment and their writing. I used to just go according to a regular 100-point grading scale, so 90%, 90%, that sort of thing. But I've scaled it back because the kids, when they're just kind of playing, they'll miss things here and there, and it needs to be forgiven when they're practicing. Now for the assessments, it's like a quiz, and they get as many points as they earn according to that, and I do that about once a week. But for the most part for me, it's pretty much, did you do it, and did you spend at least enough mental attention on it to get 70% of the words correct as you're practicing through, and then they get 100% on that little assignment, and they do twice or 3 times a week with that.
But even though we don't have a lot of computers in our school, that doesn't mean the kids don't get a chance to work on it. And actually our school vice principal made it a priority that English gets into the computer lab once a week because she knows the importance of Membean. And she even wrote to me 2 weeks ago and she goes, when do you have a Membean quiz coming up? And she sat down in the computer lab with me on purpose one day with the kids just to learn about it.
I got to watch how they did it, and I got to really spend some time with the program, and it's easy to incorporate. It's easy to learn. I mean, and there's a bunch of stuff in there that I haven't sat down and learned yet, but it's at the beginning of this year, I found it to be very easy to throw away the vocabulary books, and I love how adaptive it is. So that you have all of these words that they unlock as they go, and they kind of feel that sense of achievement when they go up a level or anything like that. But it's a lot easier than the book. They can't forget Membean at home or at school, and they can't forget their homework unless they just don't do it.
Well, I help the environment because we're not looking at paper. I mean, that's big. It's really big, and it saved us a lot of time. I mean, we still spend time looking at the analytics, but it's just much more engaging. I mean, and you really get to know how a kid works. So we've seen a lot about their work ethic too, which has been very eye-opening. And then you get the degree of excitement, which is, you can't measure that. You can only see that. And I mean, we would not see that at home if they're working on a vocab assignment at home, but we can see it in front of us in the computer lab.
It's for me, it's been very easy to get through a pile of grading that before would have taken me, a couple of prep periods or whatever, just to sort through. Where you pop it up, there's your interface, here's all my kids, here's the minutes that they did, here's their accuracy rate, or whatever other little piece that you want to look at that you can turn on. And it takes me maybe 3 minutes to get through a class as opposed to a couple of hours of sorting and figuring out whose name this is and all of that stuff that goes along with just the reality of being a teacher with paper. So it's very quick.
I think it helps too that you have such a friendly and clean interface. I mean, I think that really helps with our ability to look through things efficiently. I mean, it's a great page. I mean, there's wonderful features to it.
My students who have emailed have gotten feedback that day or that hour. I mean, he's like, look, I just got it back. I just sent that in. And it's been great. It made him feel like he actually had something to add because he had a comment. I thought maybe this would work better, and he felt like he was part of the conversation. And that support is great. You guys are doing a great job.
And I appreciate that teachers get CC'd on communications with students. That really helps. It helps with integrity, and it makes the students feel more valued, and also there's a very diplomatic tone.
If you're considering Membean, play with it. take the
that's
trial
good.
period
Yeah.
and seriously sit down like you're a student. Don't sit down like you're a teacher at first. Sit down and train like a student for a bit. And before you try to implement it, make sure that you can explain how it works to your students.
My advice is don't wait. Just sign up with Membean.